You're watching the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand.
Salah to settle it in front of the Kop.
Yes, good afternoon. Welcome back to the channel, the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand. Let's just get a little bit of graphics on the screen, shall we? What am I playing at? Welcome back to the channel. It is, of course, AGT from the Kop TV. Good to be back. I haven't actually done one of these for a while, but it's important to carry on. I love doing these live streams. So if you want me to read out your comments, if you want to, get your comment to the top of the queue, you know what to do. Make sure you smash that like button as well. We're not playing games today. We've got hot topics tomorrow. We wanted to wait for the England game to happen tonight so we can talk about all the potential updates with Trent, if he scores, if he assists, etc. tonight. So hot topics tomorrow, live, 5:30 with myself and Mario. That'll be good. And then, of course, we'll have the big derby preview and all the fan cams from outside Anfield on Saturday after the derby. It's a very good week to be involved watching the Kop TV content. So please, before we even get any further, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I've got a little Gus sleeping next to me here as well. He's locked in, aren't you, for the show? He's asleep. So hopefully I haven't bored him. But hopefully this doesn't bore you. It doesn't bore me. It infuriates me because what we're seeing now is the return of the frauds. That's what I'm calling it. The return of the helmets, the return of the shamed referees. And that is this news that the VAR pair returned to Premier League duty after the Spurs versus Liverpool error, as we know. Darren England. I'm sick and tired of saying that name at the minute. And Daniel Cook, he's not really getting the brunt of it. I feel like Darren England has definitely caught hella shots, mainly from myself, if I'm honest. But Daniel Cook kind of slid under the radar a little bit. But as we know, their return to Premier League duty is this weekend for the first time since the era. Nice little paid 3-week holiday for the boys. I'm sure it was fun. As we know, the pair were stood down for 2 later matches that were the same weekend and excluded from the round of fixtures. They will now host Brentford versus Burnley on Saturday. They will be the refereeing team for that game. Daniel Cook has also been named as Sheffield United versus Manchester United's assistant referee. And, Howard Webb has come out and said steps have been taken to avoid a repeat of the controversy. As we know, Darren England was the man who said, can't do anything, mate. And got it all wrong, as we know. So it's nice to see that they've not really got away with much. They've absolutely ruined, which I don't even really want to talk about, but it's only news again today now that they're back, so I kind of have to talk about it. It's they're back in town, aren't they? They're refereeing. I just want to get this article up as well from Sky Sports, which is quite damning, really. It was Darren England who said, can't do anything, mate. Players restarted, can't do anything. My hands are tired, mate. That was his chat with Simon Hooper, who's actually, on reflection, I can't really, apart from not letting us stop the game to give the goal, he was massively let down by Darren England and Daniel Cook. So although he got the absolute brunt of proceedings, it was actually his mates that really, really, really let him down. But again, he could have also blown the whistle and restarted the game and shown a bit of common sense. But as we know, you can't do anything when it comes to common sense, said Darren England. The helmet, we should add as well. So they're back. What do we make of that in the comments? Shout out to everyone who's locked in. Alejandro Maravilla. Yes, my boy AGT. Buenos tardes, hombre. ¿Qué pasa, hombre? Muchísimas gracias por tu atención. Nope, they are not fired yet. Big up, Tim. Shout out to T-Boys TV. Shout out to my brother. Just to confirm, that is tomorrow at 5:30. Hot topics. We're going to be speaking about the derby, Robertson's injury, etc. A shout out to Timothy, who's watching from home. On it, I'm here also watching stupid House Speaker vote on my TV set. Is that politics? You guys have different terms for the House of Commons and all that stuff in America, but big up to you guys. If they are not careful, one day they will be replaced by Android refs. AI refs would do a better. Actually, if it was just kind of computers and not humans, because we keep hearing the words human error. That just shouldn't be a thing when it comes to a VAR, a video referee. That's just, it's a black or white, it's AI. And I think they will get replaced by, you can say robots and androids and stuff, but hopefully it's just AI that replaces them. But it's, it's not really much of a punishment. It was basically a paid 3-week leave process. So again, let us know in the comments if you're not watching this live, how you feel about that. We're hearing as well that obviously Darren England will not be on any Liverpool games for the rest of the season, which I think is probably the best for both parties. But yeah, what are your thoughts? Darren England returns after his horrendous points costing mistake against Tottenham to Liverpool. So it's not good, is it? Right, let's move on to more positive news. Again, I spoke on DR Sports yesterday about, do Liverpool need anything in January? I said it would be nice to grab another CDM, if I'm honest, and it would be nice to grab a centre-back as well. Arguments to say, well, we've got Jarrell Quansah, who, if you buy another centre-back, will he play as much? Arguments to say, Wataru is playing really well for Japan. He's the captain of the country. He's played, quite nicely against Leicester as well. Can he play more if we get another CDM? Probably not. So I guess, it's difficult because we do need these players in the long term. But in January, I don't know if it's the case unless there's massive injuries. And again, touch wood. I'm touching wood right here. None of that happens. We've seen Robertson get a nasty shoulder injury, which isn't what you want. But at the same time, it's always good to strengthen the squad going into that second half of the season where we might have some big European games coming up. It's obviously big crunch games, but I don't think we've seen our full squad used to its maximum yet. And when I say that, we haven't seen enough of Endo and whether we can really rely on him to be that out-and-out number 6 that starts every week. Have we seen enough from Gravenberch yet? Arguments to say yes, absolutely. Have we seen the end of, really great contributions from Harvey and Curtis? Absolutely not. Thiago, we're hearing he might be back after the international break, which is technically this weekend. I can't see him being on the bench. So maybe there's a space. I heard links today that he might go to Barcelona on a free at the end of the season where he started his career, obviously, all those years ago. Let me know what you think about Thiago in the comments and that potential link back to Barcelona. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he leaves Liverpool in the summer. I just want to see a little bit more before he does leave. I want to see 2 or 3 standing ovation performances again from Thiago. But again, injuries have absolutely hampered his time at Liverpool. A bit of a slower pace out in Spain. So is Thiago set for a move back to Barcelona? Let me know in the comments about that one. Again, as you've seen in the title, new midfielder linked. So let's look at those links today. I've got some more articles to show you. And they're positive, it's midfielders. I don't know if this will happen in January. It's maybe a bit more of a summer option. Still being linked to Andre Trindade, linked today with Jamal Musiala, who still has a contract at Bayern Munich till 2026. So, it's one of those where if he comes in, what does that mean for the rest of the guys that I've just mentioned? Your Curtis Jones, your Harvey Elliott's, and the rest, really, the Gravenberchs, etc. You still got Szoboszlai and McAllister who pretty much start every game. But I wanted to show you this one first and foremost because it's an interesting link that we've not really seen much of before. So the headline is on thisisanfield.com that Liverpool are tracking German midfielder who is available for around 17.3 million. The teenage sensation midfielder Hassan Ouedraogo would face competition. Liverpool would face competition for his signature should they make a move, but he's only 17. He's produced a string of impressive displays with Schalke, who are in the second Bundesliga, which is the equivalent of the championship. Again, do you trust that kind of level of performance in such a low league? But then you also say, well, he's 17. He's obviously going to be being looked at by the top teams around Europe. You can already see AC Milan, say top teams, clearly not a top team in Europe, but obviously Everton and Brighton and potential suitors as well. I mean, is this one of those rumours that is a bit of a flash in the pan? Don't forget, we are approaching the January transfer window. There's about, I say approaching, we've still got 2.5 months to it. But this is kind of when October, November, December, you see the rumours really ranking up. But apparently he's been an absolutely shining light in Schalke's difficult start to the campaign. currently 16th in the German second tier. Made history with Schalke twice as he became the youngest player to appear and the youngest player to score. So he broke 2 records in the same game. 15 caps for under 17 side. I'm trying to find out which side that is, which country. Is he German? Is he German? I'm not sure. Yeah, German. Yeah, I said it already. So interesting, that one. How do you guys look at this when you see a name like that linked? I mean, obviously we don't know much about him, but to be kind of spoken about in that term for playing for a big club, let's not forget Schalke traditionally are a very big club. I'd almost go as far as to say, I mean, Aston Villa have won a European Cup, Nottingham Forest have, but you know that kind of team that's too good to almost go down, but still ends up competing in the Bundesliga. When they get back up, I'm sure they'll compete. You know, rewind back to 2010, these guys had Raul up front and they were really doing well in the Champions League, especially, I remember. So Schalke are a big team. How they are in the Bundesliga too, I'm not too sure. But clearly a wonder kid. And when you start making headlines at that age, at 17, obviously the kind of attention from all the top clubs in Europe is going to follow naturally, especially in the midfield, which is, you know, very, very, very congested kind of market, but again, a very valuable market. Look at the midfielders and the prices they're going for these days. The Tonalis, the Rices, the Caicedos, the Enzos, the Soboslais, you know, maybe obviously as time goes on, the money simply just goes up and up for top midfielders. But 10, 15 years ago, you'd be looking at a 25 to 30 million pound midfielder. There's almost an argument to say these days, I know the top strikers are the top money, but midfielders are going for more than strikers these days. So, you know, is there a shout to say get him early and maybe beat everyone else to his signature? But at the same time, is it a smokescreen for Andre Trindade? Again, different players at different ages, but what does that also mean if we do go in for a 17-year-old who, again, I'm just trying to play both sides of the coin, who wonder kid, making headlines, scored on his debut, youngest player to play for the club, great. But at the same time, the Bundesliga too, what does how does this impact potential academy players coming through at Liverpool, the likes of Tyler Morton, the likes of Bajcetic as well? How does this maybe impact their futures as well? So I'm not too sure about the link. Again, nice to be linked. German wonder kid at the minute. I guess, you know, you want your hat in that conversation. But for me personally, I'm not too sure about that one. Remains to be seen. But again, so young. So you never know, do you? Let's go to this one, which is clearly still a link. Arsenal and Liverpool now are both interested in transfer target Andre Trindade from Fluminense in Brazil, who we know has already spoken to Billy Hogan in terms of were they willing to sell in the summer, or would it be a January option? We saw him win the trophy in the end with Fluminense. So if he does leave, he leaves on really high terms with the rest of the fans. But now Arsenal have thrown their hat in the ring. Of course, we know Edu, the Brazilian technical director at Arsenal, former player, has been to Brazil and has made the connection with his representatives. We understand that, or this is Anfield understands, that Liverpool did have a £25 million bid rejected in the summer. But Liverpool are still keen to get the Brazilian's signature, who has had one cap for his country already at such a young age. Now Arsenal are in the race as well. You know, he's going to have to think about this, isn't he? Because as you can see here, Edu was with his representatives at Fluminense in Brazil, which is a bit cheeky. It's a bit tappy-uppy, isn't it, these days? I'm not sure if that's technically allowed, but I guess with his Brazilian roots, it's one of them things. Brazilian journalist Jose Sexas says the team would not work if he was not available. I think they will try and hold him as long as possible, which is December, at the end of the Brazilian season. So the end of the season is coming up. And again, he would be available in January. But is he the guy that Liverpool need? I'm asking you that now in the comments. Let me know right now if he is that guy. They play Boca Juniors at home on November the 4th. So maybe everyone will be watching that game to see how good he really is in a big game like that at the Maracanã against Boca Juniors, which is a big test. So I guess we'll see how Andre gets on in that game, but also whether he chooses Liverpool or Arsenal, or is there anyone really denying the fact that Real Madrid could just swoop in, as they do with a lot of Brazilian young talent? So, again, let me know what you think to that one in the chat. And there was this one as well, which, again, I put up on the Instagram today. It's Leroy Sané again. We're hearing that he's the number one option to replace Mo Salah. But I also think it's nonsense. For me, there's not many players in the world who you can say are priceless. Even though he's 32, Mo Salah is still priceless for Liverpool. I don't think necessarily replacing someone in their early 30s for a late 20-year-old really does much in terms of, if you are going on that opinion of he's getting old, we need to replace him with a younger model. I don't really think a 3 or 4 year younger player is maybe the way forward. He's already admitted that he's kind of spoke to Klopp before he joined Man City. We were up for buying him, maybe around the same time that Mo Salah joined. But I'm going to ask you now in the chat, right? If it came down to it, and I'm pretty much presuming you're all going to say Mo Salah, but next season, is it Salah or Sane? For me, it is still Mo Salah for at least the next 2 or 3 seasons. And I'm not really on board with this opinion that, you know, we have to sell him next season. If anything, get him to sign a new deal. That guy, like the Messis, like the Ronaldos, I'm not saying he's of their level in terms of trophies won, Champions League goals scored, etc. But he is in that category when it comes to looking after yourself, playing into your mid to late 30s. And why not? You know, he could easily play for us in terms of fitness, getting up and down the flank, assisting, scoring. He could easily play for us till he's 30. And then you can go to Saudi and get a big paycheck there. But anyway, that's what I think. I think Mo Salah is priceless for us. And even though the likes of Sane is linked, I'm still going Salah all day long. Let's jump into the comments, see what you guys are saying. Very excited for match day, I have to say. I'm not going to be at the game, which is a bit of a killer for me, to be honest. I'll be in London, but don't worry, Mario will be outside the ground doing the fan cams. I'll also be uploading some content myself straight after the game. Shout out to HR. We've just gone over that Musiala link again. When too many midfielders are linked, you kind of think, well, what does that mean for our current midfielders that we've just spent money on? I don't think we necessarily get Musiala, if I'm honest. I know we're linked today, but I don't see it happening. Man United fans complained a lot about Qatar walking away. Honestly, they should be grateful being in 10th place instead of relegated to the SB Championship. Multiple choices are better than a lack of choices in the midfield. I don't know why, but Andre gives me smoke screen vibes, says M. I think a pre-agreement should have been pretty easy if he really is our first choice. Again, there were other options that we were looking at, as we know, in the summer. But if a pre-agreement was to be made, maybe it should have been made in the summer and not now. Because when January comes around, you know, Arsenal could go in for him. Again, I think they've got Rice, they've got Partey, so do they even need him? But clearly one that everyone, especially Liverpool and Arsenal, are talking about at the minute. M talking about Uedrago again. He's the current German wonder kid, special player, but don't know if he's ready for the Prem physically. Again, just 17. Good for the future, says HR. Shout out to my bro Tom, all the way from Copenhagen. Shout out to you, my brother. Keep supporting, keep doing your thing. I hope you're well. He says, yes, bro, finally match week again. I have a good feeling about the derby this weekend. Would you start Ryan G? Also, do you know when Stefan is back in training? It's a very good question, that one. I'm actually going to do a bit of research. I've got an article here to maybe give you the answer to that, Tom, seeing as you asked so nicely. Let's get onto that one. It's an injury update, including Andrew Robertson, Cody Gakpo, and Stefan Bajcetic. As we know, yeah, it's not looking great for Andy Robertson this weekend. As we saw, he went off with a painful-looking shoulder problem. But the left back joins Cody Gakpo and Bajcetic in being labelled as a doubt. Again, Thiago is another player on the comeback trail, even though we heard he'd be back after the international break. The last international break, there is another international break in November. Maybe he's back after that, but he's got to come back sooner or later, for God's sake. But as we know, Bajcetic, Gakpo, Thiago, Kelleher, and Robertson all potentially out for the derby. We're kind of sweating over that one a little bit. After a number of months out last season, as we know, the young midfielder saw his return cut short, after only one appearance due to a fresh problem. But Liverpool hope to have him back after the internationals, but that is perhaps in hope rather than expectation. So there's your injury updates again. Thiago, it's annoying but not massive. It was kind of, you're getting into the Naby Keita territory with the Klopp kind of descriptions of these injuries. He loves to say this one especially. But yeah, the training ground injury for Queeveen was a bit weird. Didn't really hear much else about it. Also, really disappointing to hear that the ladies lost at home at Anfield on the weekend. Just gone to Everton. I'm seeing the Everton fans were in the Kop for that game, which is unbelievable, to be honest. But yeah, that's 2 in a row at home now for the ladies against Everton. So that's got to turn around soon. And they've obviously got a chance to put that right this weekend. But that will hurt. Local derby, it doesn't get much bigger than that, especially playing at Anfield as well, which I think is totally right, by the way, and it should happen more often. But yeah, disappointing result that. Everyone going with Salah, by the way, to the earlier question that I asked you. 10,000%, says Alejandro, the Egyptian king. Last time you were rude to me and upset me. Really? Is this in person or online? I wouldn't have done that to you intentionally, but let me know what I've done and I'll apologize for it, man. Let's get, I mean, realistically, let's get the likes well up from that. Come on, that's embarrassing. Salah needs to retire Liverpool player. I mean, that could even happen, but I just guarantee he will go to the Saudis at some point. We need to get a true 6. We should be putting McAllister in his true position. Yeah. Yeah. We have a true 6 there in Endo, but we still haven't been totally reliant upon him to play in that position, not through any fault of his own. I just think we haven't relied on him to that level yet, which is more of a us problem. So until we see that, which I'm hoping, imagine how good it would be if he plays the derby at number 6, absolutely clatters and crunches everyone, doesn't get any cards, contributes, then we can firmly say, well, if he can do that in an early kickoff derby, he can do that way more often for us in the league as well. So I wouldn't be against playing Endo on Saturday, if I'm really honest with you. I would not. Big up to Diego. Always been rocking with the Kop TV from way back when. But 14 international break or post-international break, 12:30 kickoffs since 2015 for Liverpool. The next up is 6, Tottenham. Anyway, Curtis Jones obviously still won't be playing against Everton, out of suspension still, which is really annoying because, again, that's the kind of guy that you start in a game like this. His debut said exactly that, scored the winner. Potentially. Lucho is playing well for Colombia at the minute. I wonder if he may need resting against Everton. This is the other thing about playing a 12:30 international kickoff. Obviously, England play tonight. A lot of other internationals are tonight. But tomorrow, Argentina play Peru at our time, 1 a.m. So let's say our time that finishes at 3 a.m. Let's say by 10 a.m. Thursday, he's coming back to Liverpool for maybe 8 to 10 hours flight. Arriving in Liverpool Thursday evening, training on Friday, and then straight into the Merseyside derby, your first one on Saturday. I don't like the sound of that. I can't lie to you. I do not like the sound of that in terms of Maka or any kind of South American players that we've got out there at the minute. And this is why it comes back to the argument of just how ridiculous it is that we've played so many of these games so early, so many times in the last 8 years. Anyway, Gakpo doesn't look like he'll be back. Again, we are waiting for that Jurgen Klopp press conference, which will probably happen on Friday. So I'll give you a video on Friday to update you all on that. Should be fun. And as I said, Hot Copics is back tomorrow at 5:30, myself and Mario. So that would be a good one. Really looking forward to that. Make sure you smash the likes for this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. As I said, loads of great content coming up. Don't forget, give it a couple of weeks and we're playing the real big boys again. Manchester United, the Arsenal. So looking forward to doing all that preview content as well. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. As always, remember, tell a friend, tell your nan, tell your mum, tell your brother, tell your sister. All about the Kop TV. Make sure you smash that subscribe button. And me and Mario will see you back here around about this time tomorrow, almost on the dot. So make sure you're back here in 24 hours. And any other news I'll update you on. But in the meantime, take care. All the best.
Thanks for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it.
Please, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the Kop TV.
The voice of football's most famous stand.